social media information systems. And we talked about three main things. User communities, that would be us, the users of the social media sites. The sponsors that are businesses that post Facebook pages, whatever that might be. And also the application providers like Twitter and Facebook and Vine and Instagram and LinkedIn and Snapchat and all those fantastic things. And what do we want to focus on? I know many of you are very adept at using these tools, but why we're covering this in a class is trying to look at it from a business perspective, from an organization that is going to maintain a presence as a social media sponsor. So that is what we are focusing on in this chapter. And when we talked about this, we talked about this is probably as important as traditional channels, probably more important because of this. Okay, because people form communities, hives, tribes, whatever you call it, and a person can be in multiple communities, and that really can extend the reach of their opinion, of their site. What we call that is the viral nature of social media, and we try to use that by creating something called a viral hook. And just an example, I think I showed you Mr. Tonkin's wife's video is now over. You guys remember that dog honking the horn video? I think it is over 5 million hits at this point. So, which is kind of crazy to think to yourself, like, I produced something that had over 5 million hits. One time, a few years ago, I was in Crescent. You guys know where Crescent is, right? And I got a new smartphone, and I was taking video. There was a flash flood basically, and the streets were filled with water. And I was hanging out by you guys know where the tunnel is? You know where the Sheets? I was at the Sheets parking lot. You know that overpass? Well, it was really flooded there, and there were cars going through there, and they were like, it's up to the middle of the tires. So I posted it, like all my videos go to YouTube, so I posted it on YouTube, and I was contacted by the Weather Channel. I swear to God, the Weather Channel contacted me and said, hey, can we show your video? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, So they put it on the Weather Channel, and it was just like a minor flash flood, but people were posting on Facebook, like, hope the people of Crescent are okay, because they make it worse than it is. So something that I created, probably saw by a couple 100,000 people that I created on my phone. So that's the craziness about social media, right? It's just the extent of it can be bigger than you might think. So a couple things we skipped over, a lot of this. A couple things we did talk about is that social media. We talked about something called crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is giving tasks to the crowd, things that you would normally do as individuals. We talked about Enterprise 2.0, and Enterprise 2.0 is saying, in the workplace, we want the same kind of tools to share knowledge and solve problems that we have in our social media life. And when we talked about folksonomy, we said folksonomy versus taxonomy. Taxonomy is a structured way of naming, of classifying things. Folksonomy is the tag system that you're used to. And we use the acronym SLATES to talk about the things that we want to do in Enterprise 2.0. We want to be able to search, we want to be able to link, we want to be able to create and author in any kind of form that we like. We want to be able to tag things, that's like the folksonomy. Extensions is the ability to predict usage patterns. For example, Pandora and Netflix do that quite well based on what you like, based on what the music you listen to. Amazon does that as well. And Signals is a way to get alerts, and I showed you guys Google Alerts as an example of that. Okay, so we talked about capital. Physical capital is like an investment in a building, something that you invest in that's going to pay dividends in the future. Human capital is what you're doing right now. You're investing in your education so that you can make more money in your lifetime and be happier and all those good things. And social capital is an investment in social relationships with the expectation of marketplace returns. So really, when we talk about that the word we use is networking, right? I have a good network of people. Like, I'm going to get a job because I know a person, okay? Or I'm going to get this position because I know these things. And we talked about the value of social capital. And where we kind of left off last class, and I kind of added to this, was we talked about Web 2.0. Okay, and a couple things. We said a key characteristic of Web 2.0 is a pay-per-click revenue model. And what was the organization that I said makes billions of dollars every quarter? I think it was, what, $17, $18 billion last quarter, using a pay-per-click revenue model. What was the name of the organization, Mark? It was Google, right? And Google has a program called AdWords where I can pay to have my ad associated with certain keywords, right? So I can come up on certain keywords. And they charge me per click, right? And we talked about that. And if you are managing a website and you want to drive traffic, you're going to use a pay-per-click model. Yahoo has it, Bing has it, Facebook has it, LinkedIn has it, Twitter has it, where you pay per click. You say, here's the ad I want you to show, here's when I want you to show it, here's the kinds of people, here's the geographic location of the people I want you to show it to. So a couple things that we can do with pay-per-click revenue model is we only pay per click, right? And we bid on those clicks. So we bid on, we'll say we'll pay $8, $15, $20 per click. A click, so our ad is shown, when our ad is shown, we call that what? When our ad is shown, we call that what? An impression. Impressions lead to clicks. Clicks divided by impressions is called click-through rate. And it has some characteristics here. The average click-through rate of smartphones is 4%, while PCs is 2.39%. Clicks, we hope, lead to what? What was the third thing? So impressions, we hope, lead to clicks. Clicks, we hope, lead to what? Conversions, okay? A conversion is when the customer does what we hope they do. Filled out a form, applied, or bought something, right? They did what we wanted them to do. So if you think about it, what is a beautiful thing about pay-per-click advertising is they brought someone to your door, and we can actually track, hey, how many people did they bring to our door, and how many people did the action we want to do? If I put up a billboard, if I run a magazine ad, not as easy to do that, right? Not as easy to do that. So we talked about that model. Now the other thing that I wanted to talk about, well, let's go to Google and let's show this. I think for some reason I had to go to incognito. And let's say, so if we look, all of these things, okay, this, these are ads. They're clearly done as that. All these are ads. They're paying per click. So that is part of the Google AdWords system. If I go down here, this is the first non-ad result, okay, the non-ad result. So if I click on this one, smartphones and cell phones, how much did T-Mobile get charged for that click? What do you think, Steve?
50 cents.
Nothing, right? Because all these up above are ads, right? These are people that are part of the Google AdWords system. All these are what's called organic results, right? How does Google make their money? They provide relevant results, right? I mean, that's what they do. So they're saying, I type in cell phone, the most relevant result to cell phone is this. The second most relevant result to cell phone is this. This is the third, this is the fourth, this is the fifth, this is the sixth. And look, there's, I don't know, what did it say? It returned 1.1 billion results in half a second. I love how it brags like that. But if I go to page 10, okay, these are all Office Depot, Texas Offender Telephone, Edheads, Engineering. All those are also organic results. But what about the first page results versus the second page results? When you search for something, where are you most likely to click through? How many times do you actually go to the second page? Rarely. Third page, even more rarely. Fourth page, even more rarely. So if you're an organization, right, this is like precious real estate. Think about that. The first page, and actually they say the first 10 results are the most precious real estate, because we rarely go to, page 10. We never go to page 10. We never go to page 20. We never go to page 30. So how do you think I get, if these are all paid and these are just organic, how do you think I get there? How do you think I get there? So if I look at baseball, okay, first one is Major League Baseball. How about Bluetooth speakers? Okay, ads. Amazon is number one. So if you are marketing something, obviously you can pay, right, through a pay-per-click advertising site. But what's even better is to be put up here for free. How does that happen? Very good. Okay. Under SEM, that stands for Search Engine Marketing. That means how we're going to market to our customers through search engines. One of the big drivers is PPC. Okay, this costs money. The other thing we can do is something called SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. Now, we can't optimize the search engine. What we do is we optimize our site for certain keywords. You guys know what I'm saying? So we want to be associated with, I don't know, blenders. Well, we're going to make sure that our site has blenders keywords all through it. Okay? The way search engines work is they crawl the web, they look at all the content, and they say, algorithmically, I think this site is about this thing, right? So when someone does a search, I'm going to put this up. Now, the more people that refer to your page using that keyword, when I say refer to it, I mean link to it, the more efficacy it gets, the more value it gets, okay? So there is a whole stream of tools and tricks that websites can use to perform search engine optimization and make sure that our site is about these things. When we had Terry in here, she talked about what she sold mattresses, right? She worked for Casper, and so let's see, so mattress, these are all ads, these are people who are all paying, Sears, Simmons, Beauty Rest, Mattress.com, obviously that's a good one, Sleepy's, Overstock, Walmart, My Bob's, Costco, New York Times. I don't see Casper anywhere there. Oh, there's Casper. So they paid for that, right? What she probably really wants to happen, though, is to get in here, right? So she paid for this ad. If I click on that, that'll cost Terry's company money. But she'd love to get here, right? How do you think we optimize our page so that it is associated with any keyword like mattress or cell phone or Bluetooth speaker? What do you think some techniques we use to do that are? Okay, go ahead. What do you mean by tags? You're right.
Like, I don't know, a lot of times, like, when you tag, like, pictures or posts and things like that, you can, like, tag.
Okay. So when you put a picture up there, there is something called, the picture has a file name, right? And it also has an alternate file name. So when you put up a picture, you want to be associated with the keyword mattress. Well, the picture probably should be mattress, or mattress is in that title somewhere. Where else do you think it's important that your keyword be? Where else do you think it's important that your keyword be? Okay, in the URL, right? And you saw who was number one. It looked like mattress.com, right? Fantastic. I own mattress.com. That's worth something. Even if I don't have, that domain itself is worth millions of dollars, even if I don't have a business, right? Because that's important. That's going to get categorized high just because mattress is in the domain name, okay? There are titles for sites, right? There are titles. So just like a title for a book, that keyword should be in the title for the web page. It should probably be these are navigations. It should probably be in the navigation. If you have text, it should probably be in the text, and it needs to be natural text. There are people that do things that are called black hat techniques. For example, they try to stuff their site with keywords, but it doesn't make sense. It's not natural. They want to be associated with the keyword, by stuffing their site with a certain keyword, but it's not natural, and the search engine crawlers are able to detect that, right? So if you are managing a company's SEM, you want to use both PPC and SEO. So when we build blog pages and pages, we want to make sure the content is relative to the keywords we want to be associated with. Alexis.
So like how much would it cost for, let's say, like you misspell like what you want for a company? Like you use an example one day in class. How much does that cost to like click on each one before you actually find what you're looking for? Like how much does a company have to buy out like per search? That way they know like if you misspell something that you know exactly what you're looking for and it still pops up. Like how much does
Oh, okay. So I'm sure if I type, like, for example, you mean like if I type Amazon.com,
yeah.
Amazon still pops
Yeah.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
So what she's asking is there is something called, one of the things we're going to talk about is when we talk about, where is it? Web 2.0. I can't remember where I wrote it, but we talked about traffic increases value, right? So traffic to your site increases value. So one of the things when we talked in a previous class was about registering a domain name, right? A domain name is the name of your website. And how much do we say that cost? About how much? There's different values and sometimes there's specials, but about how much to register a domain name through a registrar? You guys remember we looked at that? About how much? If I go to one, let's go to, I don't know, GoDaddy is the one that you guys probably know the most. Let's say I want Elena Fagula. Did I spell it right, Elena?
No, but that's okay.
All right. If I want ElenaFagula.com, okay? She's not yet famous, so it's available, right? And it looks like it cost me, that's an intro price, $3, but it really probably cost about 10 to 14 bucks a year. Okay, that's the intro price. So Elena, if she wants ElenaFagula.com and she wants to protect her domain name, she should probably also register ElenaFagula.net, .org, .info, and maybe even, all these, they're going to have under here like other what do I want to say, alternatives domain names. So each of those cost, 10 to 15 bucks a month, a year. Okay, so Amazon.com probably spends, I don't know, thousands, registering all the typos of Amazon.com. And there are companies that try to take advantage of that. If you misspell Amazon.com because you hit the S and it comes up Smamazon, maybe you come to their site and they try to sell you products because traffic means value. So it all depends. I guess there's hundreds of different combinations that you'd have to protect. But usually people don't. They usually, it depends. If you're Amazon, you probably protect a lot. But if you're, ElenaFagula.com, you might just do that, right? Maybe you don't have a lot of traffic. Okay. But yeah, use increases value. Okay, use increases value. So search engine so I used to teach an e-commerce class, and in the e-commerce class, we used to own our own domain names, students did, and their own website. They used to run both. And then we would have an SEO contest. So I would make up a keyword phrase, like the last time was Caribbean Miko Thang widget, okay, which doesn't exist. If you Google Caribbean Miko Thang widget, you're going to get 0 results at this point. So I tell the students, you guys are selling Caribbean Miko Thang widgets, and they were supposed to optimize their site for that keyword phrase. And then at the end, after 2 or 3 weeks, we would go to Yahoo, Bing, and Google and see who was the highest, right? And the one person that was the highest got like a $5 Sheets gift card in my respect. So SEO techniques is a way to get our site out there. All right. So we talked about pay-per-click. The book doesn't really talk about it, but I talked about SEM, search engine marketing. Use increases values. What's a mashup? This is also a characteristic of Web 2.0. What's a mashup? What is a mashup? A mashup is taking more than one tool and mashing it together. So, for example, taking, maybe you're developing an application for available porta potties, right? And you use Google Maps in that application. That's a mashup. You take an application and combine it with something else and create something brand new, okay? That's a mashup. So Web 2.0, they encourage mashups. They make that stuff open so that you can do that. All right, so let's go back to talking about being an organization with social media. So one of the big risks with social media usage is also your own employees, right? An employee can become disgruntled. They can go out and post a view of your company that is negative. They may leak secrets. They may also say some things that are politically incorrect, and they say, we know this person works for St. Francis University, so I'm not going to go there, okay? So most companies have something called a social media policy. So it delineates employees' rights and responsibilities when using social media. And there are three main aspects to this, okay? Especially if you're writing something that is germane to your industry or organization, you should do these three things. First, disclose, meaning say who you are, okay? Say that you are, I'm a associate professor at St. Francis University. I have a vested interest in talking about higher education. So be transparent, be truthful, and be yourself. Stick to what you know, stick to your expertise. The second thing is protect, okay? Do not tell secrets about your organizations. Do not, spread office water cooler gossip. Don't slam the competition in social media. Don't overshare things that you shouldn't. That's the second tenet. And the third thing is, use common sense. Add value, make your contribution worthwhile. If you work for a lawn care company, maybe talk about tips to treating your lawn. Don't inflame or respond to every criticism. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Admit mistakes if you make mistakes. So when you work for an organization, St. Francis has one, we do have a social media policy. And that media policy, if you write like a letter to the editor, if you post something on social media that is germane to education or St. Francis University, you have to say, that's not necessarily the views of St. Francis University. You have to say what your position is, what your expertise is. You have to do those kinds of things, right? You have to make sure that you're not harming your organization. So employees are one source that we have to manage. The second source is user-generated content. We talked about the value of user-generated content. Now, 4 sources of problems of user-generated content, meaning reviews, YouTube videos on helping, on troubleshooting. Here are the problem sources when you have a social media page. Junk and crackpot contributions, and we've all seen these. Maybe spam, people putting links to their own organization. Click here for our product, or maybe it's a political rant, or maybe it's inappropriate content. Maybe it is, swear words, curse words, all those kinds of things. What do you think, as a social media page manager, you should do with junk and crackpot contributions and inappropriate content? If you manage a page and you have junk and crackpot contributions or inappropriate content, what do you think you should do as the manager of the page? Remove it. Delete it. That is obviously an option, and you should delete it. How about unfavorable reviews? Meaning you sell a product and someone gave you a 1 and said it was the worst thing, it broke in 5 hours. What do you think you should do for unfavorable reviews?
Ask for feedback so you can improve.
Okay, what do you mean ask for feedback? So they've given you feedback. They've said your product is junk. So should you remove it first? You can remove it, you can respond to it, or you can just leave it alone. Okay, what do you think? Unfavorable reviews. Should I delete it? No, right? Because people know, right? Anything gets on the internet, even for a few seconds, it's there forever. People capture that. If you delete it, they are aware that you deleted it, right? So don't delete it. So our two choices, Alexis, are respond to it or leave it. And we can do either of these, respond to it or leave it. When do you think it's important that you respond to it? When do you think it's important that you leave it? Just leave it alone. Always leave it, but should you respond to it or not? When would you respond to it? What situations would you respond to, Alexis? Okay, so one situation where you definitely should respond to it is if they do have a valid concern and you can respond to it in a positive way, right? We appreciate this feedback. We are working on this issue and maybe it'll be resolved in a few months. Sorry for the inconvenience, right? So if you have a positive spin to it, yes, it can be great feedback, right? It can be this is our customer giving us feedback that maybe we pay for in focus groups that we're getting for free, okay? When probably should I not respond to it at all? I think people, by their nature, right, understand that no product is perfect, right? That no product's going to have 100% positive reviews. And in fact, when you see that, you begin to question the reviews themselves, do you not? Okay? So when we see those kind of things, it's okay to leave it if you say, well, I'm not going to reason with this person, right? I'm not going to get into a war with this person that just escalates. You should never be, when you respond to this kind of stuff, you should never be patronizing. You should never be combative, right? It should always be like, well, sorry, you had this problem. We're working on that. Whatever it might be, this isn't typical for our company. You should always, I guess, the great way to say is always be the bigger person, right? Take the high road, right? You are not one crackpot. You are representing an organization. How about mutinous movements? What do you think of? What is a mutinous movement? What is a mutinous movement? Give you an example. Okay, this is a few years old, but McDonald's, you can pay for your hashtag to be promoted. You guys have seen this perhaps, or maybe to be featured. Do you guys ever see this? Well, McDonald's started a hashtag. They wanted users to respond to their McD stories. Okay, that was the hashtag, McD stories. What do you think happened with that hashtag? What could happen with that hashtag?
People posted something inappropriate that they did in McDonald's.
Inappropriate, something negative, right? So what happened with McDonald's, and I think I linked this out here in chapter 8. This was a couple years ago, but they wanted people to post, things like, hey, I took my daughter to McDonald's and she got the Happy Meal, like good family minutes or, things to that effect. But what happened, or we got these kind of tweets. Dude, I used to work at McDonald's and make these stories. I could tell you would raise your hair. One time I walked to McDonald's, I could smell type 2 diabetes floating in the air and I threw up. McD stories. These McDishes never get old, kind of like a box of McDonald's 10-piece chicken McNuggets left in the so people took it over, right? They tried to make it humorous. I could see the same thing happening, maybe if Torvian tried to say, Torvian stories, right? I think you guys would probably hijack the hell out of that, right? It would be awful for them, yes? Even St. Francis, I'm sure there were, Major League Baseball has done this, right? They're trying to do Major League Baseball stories. They're having mixed results. They have good results and bad results. But sometimes the bad results can take over. Now, McDonald's, quickly about 2 hours into it, realized, hey, this was a mistake. And they asked Twitter to quit promoting McD stories, that hashtag, right? Quit promoting, tell us about your McD stories. But it became a life of its own, right? Because, so what? They're not promoting it. But hey, I saw a funny McD story on my friend's timeline. I'm going to write my own little funny quirk, right, on my tweet and get it out there. So that can be very, very problematic. Now, when we talk about reviews, okay, when you look at reviews on Amazon, I'm sure we're all very savvy shoppers, and we look at reviews. What can be a problem with reviews? User-generated content. Do you trust every review you read?
Some people are just like whiny.
Some people are whiny, right? You're never going to make 100 people satisfied, right? You know, and I look at professors' idea evaluations, right? So sometimes there are trends for sure, right? I see 7 people say Dr. Miko is disorganized, or 5 people say Dr. Miko is disrespectful to students, right? When you see that happen, you kind of think, well, geez, that must be truth, right? 5, 6, 7, 8 people see it. But if you get a one-off comment like Dr. Miko is mean, and everyone else says he's very fair, well, then that's just someone that maybe has an axe to grind, right? So that happens. But not only are comments, sometimes not really representative of the truth, but sometimes they're fake altogether, right? So who would post fake comments, fake reviews, fake positive reviews?
Company.
Dan? Yes, the company. Dan? Sure, right? So I could maybe tell my employees, hey, today is Review Friday. Everyone go out and review one of our products positively on Amazon.com, right? That's what I want you to do. They estimate over 50% of reviews are fake. That's pretty damn high, right? So as Amazon, as a provider, as a consumer, what do you want to do? How do you protect yourself? Well, I want to show you this. This is a site called Review Skeptic. Okay, and it's from Cornell University. They developed this algorithm that looks at reviews and can kind of determine if they're fake or fraudulent about 90% of the time. Humans can only determine it like 37% of the time. But this is Review Skeptic, and you can click out to these articles and see that. But let's write a review. So someone help me. This is for hotels. Someone help me write a review. So I stayed in this hotel with my wife and 5 kids. And it was a wonderful experience. If I stay in a hotel with my wife and 5 kids, it's not going to be a wonderful experience, I can tell you that. It was the best stay ever. Dan, what do you want to add something?
No, I guess you could just talk about like how did the customer service was over the top friendly. What else might I say? Rooms were clean and comfortable. I would stay here again. Okay. So I don't know what this hotel is, but I made up this review. Clearly, we made up this review. Let's test it. Okay, this is saying deceptive, right? It's red. If we could put a real review in there, which I'll do in a second, it would indicate that it's probably truthful. Okay, and if you see, it does word analysis algorithmically, and it looks at them, and a couple of things, the red words kind of indicate that, if you use those more common, these pairs, it tends to be more deceptive, right? If I use specifics like bathroom, like beds, like coffee, that tends to be more truthful. But it's saying this one is probably deceptive. Let's go to TripAdvisor. Let's find a review. Let's TripAdvisor Pittsburgh. Let's find a review for a hotel, lodging. Omni William Penn. That's my favorite hotel in Pittsburgh. You guys ever stay there? So let's copy this one. indicated this one is probably truthful. Okay, and if you look, lobby, excellent. The red words, Omni William Penn, when I use specifically the hotel's name. You know, construction looks like it was a positive word. So it kind of does an algorithmic look at the natural language, and fake reviews tend to be over the top, right? They tend to be very, very positive, use longer words, or very, very negative. Okay, so these are the kind of things that it looks for. So this is a problem. And Amazon actually went out and sued people that were leaving too many fake reviews on their site. How else does Amazon try to get around this? To make sure their reviews are actual customer purchases.
Send emails to like people that actually buy them, and if you register your email address and purchase something, so they know that you at least bought the product.
Okay, very good. So I don't know, if I look at the Amazon Fire TV and we go through the reviews, there's 2,000 of them. Amazon did this a couple years ago. You see under a review it says verified purchase. So they said that this person actually bought the product. You don't know that this review isn't fake, but you know that they actually purchased the product from Amazon, right? So this one was a verified purchase. This one was a verified purchase. But there's going to be some here. Looks like all of the ones I'm seeing are verified purchase, but there's going to be some here that are not. Okay, so this is not a verified purchase. So that's one thing that Amazon has done, is they've tried to indicate that this person actually can verify that this person actually acquired the product. Where could I go? I could have employees write reviews. Where else could I get reviews? Where else could I get reviews? Alexis?
I know some places they'll tell you you can get coupons, and Amazon uses like a bribe for you to go, and that they'll use like the bottom of the receipt, and the code of the receipt's like what you log into.
Okay.
But they almost use it as like a bribe.
Sure. Okay, so we want our customers to do reviews, and obviously we want them to be in a good state of mind when they do it. So yeah, that's probably a fuzzy line, like, hey, write us a positive review and we'll give you blah, blah, blah. When you say write a positive review, that's probably leading. You guys ever hear of the website, there's a lot of these, but you ever hear of the website Fiverr with 2 R's? No? It's kind of a cool website. It is a bunch of people, when we talk about crowdsourcing things, there's a bunch of people that'll do things for you for $5. So they'll do a lot of different things for $5, like make a logo, make you a TV ad, probably write a term paper. I don't know, whatever it is, but there's a lot of different things they'll do out here. Like this guy will make a cartoon of you with a holiday sweater on. This one will in-depth SEO keyword research for you. I'll make a promotional mini lip balms with your logo. I will create an amazing video testimonial in HD. So she's not going to buy your product, but she's willing to do an amazing testimonial for your product for $5. I will put your romantic message on a paper. There are some over here, if you look, there are online marketing. There are people that will write you reviews. Okay, I will write a positive verified book review within 72 hours. So you can pay this person to write a review, positive book review, for $5. There are sites out here for $5 you can get another 1,000 Twitter followers. Okay, they're fake, but you could look like you have more Twitter followers than you have. So there's all kinds of things that begin done like this. This is a pretty cool site. I've had, they call them gigs, but I've had quite a few gigs, because $5, why not, right? I have on my desk, if you've ever been to my desk, there's a white Miko that was 3D printed. Someone did that for me on Fiverr. This one is, this guy for $5 made a 3-dimensional model of my house in Google SketchUp, which is pretty cool. That's my house, and it looks very much like my house. And I can rotate my house, and comes in handy. Like I just put a deck on, we replaced our deck. And I sent this to the contractor, the guy that was going to build my deck, and I showed him where it was going to be, and so it's kind of cool. So for $5, we can get a lot of different things done. So that's called crowdsourcing, right? Giving tasks that would cost me many thousands of dollars done for $5. Okay. So review skeptic, we went through. Okay, so the three things we can do with a review is we can leave it, we can respond to it, or let community do that, or we can delete it. Okay. And a good comment when I said, there's some people that we can't convince. There's some people that no matter what rational argument we make, it's not going to matter. And the phrase that's always used is never wrestle with a pig. You'll get dirty and the pig will enjoy it, right? So that's when you just leave it. I'm going to end there for today. We have about 6 minutes left, but I'm going to end today. Wednesday, we will start our review for the final exam. Also have a little in-class exercise that we're going to do. Our exam is following Wednesday, December 9th at 8 a.m. Have a great day. I'll see you Wednesday.